So here we are continuing the Final Destination review series. As now we're on to Final Destination 5. I finally did get a chance to go check out Bloodlines in theaters. But first we got to talk about Final Destination 5. And then we're going to get to Bloodlines. And then I'll be doing the ranking video. So today, Final Destination 5, you're going to hear the positives, the negatives, the rating. And then I'm going to send you all home. So let's do this. Roll it. So continuing the Final Destination review series, we are on to Final Destination 5. This film came out in 2000, I think it was 2011, 2012, sometime like that. Our lead character, who is Sam Lawton, who has our premonition in the beginning, and it's a bridge collapse. That's our intro premonition that we have, where we see a bunch of cars just collapsing into the water, you know, a bridge falling and stuff like that. It's intense. It's full of CGI, and it's all fake and everything, but green screen up the ass. So yeah, just to preface this right away, is Final Destination 5, kind of get it off the ground, is it's like a step above the Final Destination for me. So you're still going to hear a good grip of negatives when it comes to this film, but positives right away, let's talk about, is I think the actors and actresses do a good job in this movie. And we'll talk about some mixed and negatives about the characters themselves later, but in terms of acting and actresses, I think they do a good job. I don't think they're bad actors or anything like that. We do have Tony Todd reprising his role in this one, and seeing him come back is really cool, and I think this was fun because in the previous ones he wasn't, like said in the third one, I think it was just his voice, and then he wasn't in the Final Destination. So like I said, really exciting to have Tony Todd back in this one. Some of his scenes with the kids are like the best, for real. And then another positive I want to discuss is that this one does introduce a couple new ideas into the story or into the lore. It's not just a copycat of the first Final Destination or anything like that. This one semi tries to introduce new stuff to the lore when we have our other character, the friend of Sam's, who tries to kill his girlfriend to take a life, to have his life stay, you know what I mean? We end up finding out in this one, that's what Tony Todd tells the group, is that in order to stay on the earth, you could actually take a life, and you will take that time that life had on this earth. So that's another new lore that they introduce in this movie. And another thing that's a positive is I do like the fact that we end up finding out when we get to the third act. Spoilers, I know I already told you all we were going to be talking spoilers when it came to these films, but spoiler warning, when we get to the third act, it is pretty cool that we find out that this is a prequel, but that doesn't heavily excite me. That doesn't make me love this film. There's still a great grip of negatives with this film, and one thing I want to discuss right away is that this film looks like shit. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to the Final Destination, Final Destination 5, the reason I hate them so much is because of the CGI, but the fact that we have CGI that looks like total ass garbage. And that's what really bothers me, is like when you watch these films, like Final Destination 1, 2, and 3 look like better films, just production wise, the gore, everything, because a lot of it is practical, but even the CGI stuff looks better than these ones. So that's what I don't understand. These are newer films. They came out after the other ones, and they look freaking worse. And they have like this weird filter over them. So like the characters look beautiful. Their skin is immaculate and their hair is amazing, but the CGI kills. What I've come to Final Destination 4 is the story and getting involved with these characters and stuff like that, because I actually like the characters in some of the previous films. But when it comes to the Final Destination and Final Destination 5, that's another negative with this one. I can care less about these characters. I don't give a rat's ass about any of these. I'm getting a little harsh here. I'm kind of like, my blood's a little bit boiling, but it's just, this is one of those ones, like, for real, I wanted so much more from Final Destination 5. I think this is the fourth time I've seen this movie, and just every time I watch it, it's like one of those films that it has positives that, you know, get me excited, but just so many negatives that I'm like, I just want so much more from this film. Like, I like our third act where we ending up and everything, but in terms of the characters, I just don't give a shit about them, and I don't like the characters in this film. Like I said, I don't think the actors or actresses do a bad job. I think they act what they were told to say and do on screen and on the script. They did a perfectly good job. It's just the characters are complete ass, and that is one thing. Like I said, when it comes to Final Destination, I think that's actually something I care about when it comes to the franchises. When I'm able to get hooked in and I'm invested with the characters and I like them and I like the character dynamics, it just makes me enjoy the film so much more. and I want to be involved in it and love these characters. And that's a huge problem when it comes to this fourth and the fifth film, is that the characters are just total shit and I don't like them and stuff like that. So that is a huge problem, that I don't get attached to them. And another thing with Final Destination 5 is that we do have kills in here, and some of the kills are a little bit unbelievable. Like, don't get me wrong, there have been kills in the Final Destination franchise that you're like, what? Like, how could that be really possible? This, that. But in this one, they kind of pushed the limits a little bit. I'm talking about specifically the LASIK eye surgery one. I'm pretty positive the machine is never that powerful. I know that machine is powerful enough to blind a person if you use it the wrong way, but it is not going to be like a straight up freaking laser from an actual like freaking anime or like a villain of Superman's. Like, that's literally how they portray it in this film. And that's what I'm talking about. This one is still on that kind of tipsy toe thing that the Final Destination, the one before this, did, where it kind of feels like a spoof. It almost feels like a comedy, and they're just trying to one up the previous film. So yes, as you can tell, when it comes to this film, I'm not a fan of this film. I do see positives. This isn't an awful movie or anything like that, like the Final Destination. It's just this one, like I said, is one of those ones that I see a huge potential in it. And then after I watch it, I'm just left feeling kind of empty. And that's a huge thing. Like, I've watched it 4 times and I feel the same way just about every time when I watch this film. And in terms of a Radd rating from your boy Norn Radd89, Final Destination 5 is going to get a 7 out of 10. Like I said, you're going to see that rating and you're going to be like, oh, like, he's just talking a bunch of load of crap. Like I said, this is not a bad film. It's still a decent watch. It's just when I watch it, the reason I'm, like I said, I've left feeling so empty is because there was such a potential for this one, and I could have seen this one being probably like my second favorite. Like, there's elements in it where I'm like, oh man, this could have been that, but nah, there's so many negatives that weigh it down. Like I said, when that, like, even that premonition in the beginning, that collapse, it looks so bad, and the green screen and the CGI is so bad that I don't feel any fear. I'm like, it's all fake. Like, I just don't feel any fear, and I can't get immersed into the story because of that reason. But these are just my thoughts and my opinions on Final Destination 5. Please let me know down below in the comment section, what are your feelings on this film, and are you excited? We're almost through. This franchise review series is almost over. Next up is Final Destination Bloodlines. I already told you I did see that the other day, and I actually marinated on that because I went to work last night. So I kind of sat on it, marinated on it, thought about my thoughts, and going to discuss, because I didn't want any recency bias to kind of influence and everything. But I'm telling you right now, I have a lot of positives to say about Final Destination Bloodlines. But you have to have that notification bell poked so you're notified anytime I drop a video. But most importantly, I want y'all to have a safe and happy day. Peace out.